All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another amazing episode of Multi-Cultural, the hardest to pronounce pop culture podcast on the planet. I'm your host, Brian, a.k.a. B. Hearn, a.k.a. the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down.
Woo! Ryan Saber, a.k.a. Captain Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Indians.
CLE till you die.
Hold on.
He paused. There was a dramatic pause.
Yeah.
A.k.a. I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker. Motherfucker. CLE till I die.
Yeah. And it's your boy Jerry, a.k.a. Jadon, a.k.a. the broke-ass Elon Musk, a.k.a. Ghost Face
I don't give a what you think, Jerry.
I don't get it.
We'll get an explanation after the
Hello,
show.
have you seen my complexion?
Yeah, you got to turn in.
Get it? Got it?
I got
Good.
you, Jerry.
All right, it's Mateo, a.k.a. King Joffrey Jofer, a.k.a. the mighty Joe Young, a.k.a. Sweep the leg.
Silverback.
Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this episode, we're going to be talking about some of the behind-the-scenes guys. We're talking about music producers, primarily hip-hop. Yeah, and that's how we're going to start it off and kick it. We're going to start off with our boy, Captain Cleveland, a.k.a. Sabretooth.
All right, so I'm going to start off with honorable mentions. I got a top three here. My format, we went with just a little bit of an introduction about each one of the producers that I love, some of the most notable artists that they've worked for, and then what I tried to do is highlight what I thought their best years, 1 year or 2 years.
Excellent.
And then for most of these guys, I'll probably, as I'm going through, shout out who or what their favorite project of mine is. So with honorable mention, we're going to go with Timothy Mosley. We're going to go with Timberland.
Nice.
He is from Norfolk, Virginia.
VA.
He started with the band Jodeci, which I think is important. I think that.
I actually did not know that.
As a lover, I love Jodeci.
Our lover boy back
If
in
it
the
don't
building.
feel like 90s R&B, I don't want it.
Somebody get a towel.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think, he's known for sort of he's unorthodox. He has unorthodox drum patterns, and he's just got like, funky melodies. And I love Timbo.
Yet familiar. Yet familiar. Like you know it's Timberland beat.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It's
And
so
it's-
unique, it's familiar.
I just saw him on, guys, I did not know this as I was doing research. He's actually has beaten an addiction to Oxy.
Huh.
Really?
And he's been out of the business for a few years, and I just saw him on Instagram maybe yesterday, or the day before, with a brand new beat that he had playing in the background, and that shit was fire. So
Was
Well,
it like
you,
a
Timbo.
year ago that he challenged Swiss Beats?
maybe he might have still been on the Oxy.
We're glad to see you off it, though.
Sorry with the joke.
Yeah, we're not
on the
laughing.
drug addiction. Most notably, Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Aaliyah, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
And Missy Elliott, obviously. His best year was 97 and 99. I think 97 he worked with Aaliyah. He did Super Duper Fly for Missy. He did put out his solo album with Magoo. Everybody remembers
Timberland and
that
Magoo.
shit. That shit was good. I don't
Here
give a
we
fuck
go.
what anybody says. 99, he was with. He produced some stuff for the Lox. He did Hot Boys with Magoo, Missy, and Q-Tip. He did So Anxious for Genuine, and obviously probably his best work, my favorite work of his, Big Pimpin' for Jay-Z and UGK.
Oh, nice. Good call.
All right, so my top three. I'm going to go start with number 3, Mr. Rick Rubin. He is one of the most influential producers. While the focus of this podcast, of this episode of ours, is on hip-hop, he is one of the most influential both inside and outside of hip-hop. He is known for his stripped-down sound, naked vocals, and kind of bare instrumentation. He's the co-founder of Def Jam Records with Russell Simmons, and he is a true pioneer of hip-hop. I will get into the hip-hop piece. Before we get into hip-hop, I want to give you a list of artists that Mr. Rick Rubin has worked with outside of hip-hop.
Give it to us.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers, Tom Petty, Johnny Cash, 9 Inch Nails, Weezer, Neil Diamond,
Yes.
for all my Neil
Yeah.
Diamond fans. U2, Metallica, Adele, Lana Del Rey, and Lady Gaga. I mean, that's a who's who before we even get into
Oh, yeah.
what he's done in hip-hop. LL Cool J, Run DMC, Public Enemy, Ghetto Boys, Justin Timberlake, Eminem, Jay-Z, the Wu-Tang Clan, and probably most notably for me, what really introduced me to hip-hop, one of the very first groups that I loved is the Beastie Boys.
Yes.
His best years were 85 and 86. For all my youngsters out there, if you don't know about Def Jam, if you don't know about Rick Rubin, learn about it.
Go watch Crush Groove.
Go watch Crush Groove. The Black Album with Jay-Z, he did that later on in his career, but 85 and 86 was really where he started. That's his wheelhouse. He did the Kings of Rock with Run DMC, and he did Kings of Rock in 85. He did Raising Hell in 86, and then he obviously produced License to Ill for the Beastie Boys, which in my opinion is one of the top probably 4 or 5 hip-hop albums of all time.
Agreed.
Number 2. You want to say anything about Rick Rubin?
Yeah,
Brian?
before you keep moving, the list is extensive. Also added to that list, I didn't know he recorded or produced System of a Down, all their albums as well.
Yep.
Damn.
Life of Pablo, Kanye, Danzig, and he produced Rain and Blood by Slayer as well. For all our metalheads out there.
Another one that I saw on the list, Coheed for Cambria. He worked
Yep.
with them on one of their
And the Mars
later
Volta.
albums. So, guys, Rick Rubin is as good as
Illmatic.
it gets.
99,
And he
99
looks-
Problems is probably still one of my favorite hip-hop beats of all time.
And don't let the fact that he looks like he just rolled out of a fucking dumpster, don't let that shit fool you. All right, number 2, the Neptunes, Virginia Beach.
What?
Pharrell and Chad Hugo. They started in the early 90s, and for a lot of people that don't know this, people who are around my age and maybe a little bit earlier, their first project, the first song they produced, do you know, Mateo?
Super Tug?
No. Do you know?
I thought it was
Is it
Super
Rex in
Nori.
Effect?
It is Rump Shaker by Rex and Effect.
I still
All
don't
I
know
want to
what
do is zoom, 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 and a boom,
What do
boom.
they do in
I was
between
young
that
as hell when
time?
that came out, and I wanted to know what zooming, and boom was
Well,
about.
I figured it out later. Maybe I'll show you sometime.
I appreciate it.
Wait, what is it?
I'm good. Don't show me.
I mean, yeah, that came out.
I think there's a
wrong.
couple websites that'll teach you a thing or
That's
two
what I meant.
nowadays.
That's what I meant. So most notably, he's worked.
oh my God.
Yeah, Jerry, that's a good one. Right
Use
there.
incognito.
I do. Incognito tab stays on my cell phone.
When you're searching for the porn, use incognito and clear your browser if you're at work. Most notably, the Neptunes have worked with Justin Timberlake, Noriega, Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, and my favorite. What really, I didn't know they had worked with Rex and Effect before. This is a later fact. My favorite group they've worked with is the Clips.
Nice. Yep, agreed.
That
Grinding.
sound on Lord Willin' when it first came out was just infectious. It was intoxicating. It just sucked me in, and it's just so dirty and fucking grimy, and I loved it. Their best years: 2001, 2002. In 2001, Knock Yourself Out with Jadakiss. They did Holla Back Youngin' with Fabulous. And they did Bouncing Back with Mystical.
Nice.
And in 2002, Lord Willin' with the Clips, and they produced Justin Timberlake's first solo album, Justified. I love Justin Timberlake. I don't know. I don't know if that's starting to
Yeah, we
come
guessed.
through.
No, you're
Well,
good.
a year ago, look, man, I always loved JT, but last year I took Courtney to Boston to see his concert. Maybe I've talked about this before in the past.
No,
If you guys,
talk about it.
If you got an extra $500, $600, $700 to go to a fucking concert,
If you got an extra mortgage payment,
yeah, if you got an extra mortgage payment to go see a concert, go see fucking Justin Timberlake. He's ridiculous. And my number 1, my favorite. This guy, I talk about him all the time. I've talked about his documentary on HBO, The Defiant Ones. He's one half the Defiant Ones. His name is Andre Young. You probably know him better as Dr. Dre. He is the West Coast's preeminent pioneer of hip-hop music, with hits ranging from really 1984 until today. He's known really for being the architect of that G-funk sound with the horns and and all that in the background. And
Incorporating the funk in.
I mean, that has defined what West Coast hip-hop is.
Yeah.
He's worked with everybody that you could think of. Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Ice Cube, Eminem, Jay-Z, Nas, Kendrick Lamar, and now
50.
even 50.
Busta.
Yeah, and then
Busta.
Busta's got the album coming out with Dre producing it.
Yeah, I just saw that on IG this week or maybe last week, and
Really excited.
even some of the newer guys, like I said, Kendrick and Anderson. I love it. So his best years, 92 and 99, a little bit of range there. In 1992, I mean, he dropped. The Chronic was the first album that I ever owned. Obviously, if my mom would have known that the CD inside had a big pot leaf on it, she definitely wouldn't have bought it for
I had to
me.
hide mine.
What's Chronic?
Yeah, we didn't know what it was though, but that was that album.
It must be really good.
It probably changed my
Is he
life.
okay?
They were okay. They were more than okay. And in '99, another great year for him. He did both the Slim Shady LP and the Chronic 2001. My favorite work from Dre. Nothing but a G thing. The sound of that is just. It's fun.
It's just
to this
smooth as
day
shit.
when it comes on. I love it. And then Forgot About Dre. I mean, I think that sort of that's an ode to like what you want to run around talking about guns like I ain't got none. What you think I sold them all? Like that's just him saying, look, man, I'm still the best. I'm still the greatest.
Yep.
I haven't done anything in a long time. The Firm flop, that Aftermath album wasn't great,
Right.
But I'm still the DR.
He owned up to his shit.
That's right. So I love him. So that's what I got.
Thank you. I love it. To piggyback on that, I would say my favorite Dre, and I think we all should at least name a favorite Dre track. I got a few, but Deep Cover, still one of my favorites.
yeah.
Fuck with Dre Day.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, Straight Outta Compton, and honestly, one of my favorite beats by him is on the NWA second album is Real Niggas Don't Die. That beat is just fucking smooth and flawless. Jerry, who you got as far as
phone
your favorite?
tap, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I love Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Let Me Ride is real smooth.
Yeah.
Let Me Ride. And Dre, the
Dre Day
video
is
for
so
Dre Day,
good.
when I saw that at the same time that I heard it.
Yeah.
The laser scope and
That's
shit.
the one where he
yeah.
tricked Snoop into thinking they were going to like a party or
Yeah,
I
something.
thought that was a Deep Cover video.
Maybe it was.
was
Yeah,
one
that
of
was
the- it was
deep
one of
cover.
the two.
Okay.
It was deep cover.
Yeah.
Snoop
Maybe it was
didn't want to
Maybe
do
it was
yeah.
both of them.
Yeah, it might have been.
But that was the Easy diss.
Yes. Yeah.
And he had the,
And the
fake
Jerry,
Easy
the Jerry Heller
yes.
disc with
Fucking
the
Jerry
act.
And it was hilarious. And I'm like, oh shit, he could do that on TV.
Back when beefs were really good and lasted a while.
Is he putting that at me? Oh, fuck.
Before we get to Mateo's favorite producers, we're going to take a quick little break for a sponsor ad. Next time you're in downtown Greensboro, make sure you check out McGee Street Country and Cocktails, open Wednesday through Saturday. They have live music, full-service bar, farm fresh ingredients, seasonal cocktail menu, and a great space for private parties. They're also hosting a movie night the second Thursday of every month. Make sure you check them out at 113 West McGee Street, and you can find them at www.mcgeestreetbar.com. All right, and we are back, and Matthew is going to kick off some of his favorite producers.
Yeah, I've got a couple personal faves.
I'm looking forward to this one.
So my number 1 and 2, actually, I want to do a shout out first.
Do it.
Greensboro's very own Ski Beats. Ski Beats produced Reasonable Doubt.
Huh.
What? I need you guys to know
Dropping
your history, yo. He was when Jay-Z says rock a block, Rockefeller. So
Yeah.
Rock a Block was supposed to be Ski Beats and his production team and
Yeah.
all that, but it never came in.
So wait a minute. We can't just glaze over it. So what? Do you have any insight in how did that connection? I mean, he used to
Because
dribble
I
down.
haven't heard
the-
that Jay-Z's been down to Greensboro a lot.
Well, he used to dribble down to
In the
VA.
younger
You
days.
know what I mean? But I don't know if he made it down this far.
The door's over there. Dribble down to VA. Yeah, Clark Kent found him. DJ
Okay.
Clark Kent. He was actually a part of a group that would go back and forth to New York all the time.
Okay.
And he
Okay.
tried to rap at first, but he was better at production.
There you go.
Ski Beats. And he has a long history.
Interesting.
Yeah, look him up.
Shout out to Ski
this
Beats.
fucking
GSO.
guy just coming out swinging.
Greensboro's very own Ski Beats produced a classic. So my 1 and 2 is always a battle, and like every other year or so, I will ask. I don't know. I'll take a poll and say, "Who you got, Pete Rock or Premier?"
Right.
And for the sake of this podcast, for this episode, I say Premier and then Pete Rock.
Probably, but it's close.
Yeah. That's a
very
neck
close.
and neck battle.
Premier, you know a Premier beat. Like you can hear it. He did that one with the locks, recognized, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like Premier. And then Jadakiss says, oh, you wanted to hear the locks over Premier. It was amazing. And Pete,
talking to me.
Pete Rock, he has a lot of instrumental albums
That's
that,
right.
that I deal with. Between his and
He
Metal Fingers and Doom.
samples a lot more. Whereas some of these newer DJs, or excuse me, producers and other ones, I mean, a lot of guys sample, but some of the guys, especially the guys that we kind of mentioned right here, they're creating their own electronic beats, whereas I feel like Pete Rock samples a lot more.
Right, he's a crate digger.
Yeah. Through and through.
Which is awesome. And his cousin, if you did not know this, was Heavy D, and he was a huge producer also.
I saw that. I know that from somewhere.
Good. So now you know it officially.
Now you know facts.
Yeah. I'm going through the Rolodex.
Right,
trying to
right.
figure out where I knew that.
So I had a three-way tie for third between Havoc of Mobb Deep, the Alchemist, also of Mobb Deep fame, kind of, and Ninth Wonder, North Carolina's very own.
Yep.
Ninth, I in college we had certain circles because I was at NC State and they were at Central, and that's when Little Brother came up.
Yeah.
And Fonte we went to Page with.
Yeah. Page High.
Yeah, from Greensboro, and he linked up with Ninth and rapper Big Pooh. And
Who? Sorry.
That's not nice. That's not nice. Pros. I mean, no. No, Ninth is incredible.
Yes.
He actually made his way up to the Black Album. And
Yes, he did.
He was that good. And Alchemist is just like, it's like to me, it's like I speak his language.
I owned an Alchemist album. I'm trying to think.
Was it Hold You Down?
Probably
Yeah.
was it Green?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
that shit
so.
was fucking straight fire, man.
Yeah.
And Q-Tip,
Yeah.
who doesn't get enough credit.
No, not at all. Especially for Illmatic.
Between him and Dilla, which we haven't said anything about yet.
No.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Dilla.
Yeah. Dilla's Donuts, which is unfortunately a lot of people got hip to Dilla after
Well, that's exactly right.
his death.
Yeah.
But because of the way that A Tribe was and Slum Village, and those guys didn't really do it for the notoriety.
They put out they had like a Dilla salute that came out with, I'm trying to think which Roots album it came with. I think maybe Things Fall Apart or The Tipping Point maybe. I'm trying to think of
At the very end?
Yeah.
It was a bonus
well, no,
track?
no, they actually had a CD that came with it that kind of had a bunch of already pre-released songs. I got it. I may have it in one of my CD books still. I should give it to you if you haven't heard it. A lot of pre-released songs. Like there was some Rakim and Roots shit on there that basically Dilla had gone back and given them his own treatment.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Speaking of the Roots, it's a 20-year anniversary of Things Fall Apart.
correct.
The album that put them on the map.
Probably.
Is it?
I mean, as far as, like,
Mainstream.
Like the mainstream. That's what I mean. Mainstream.
I mean, do you
give you
want
that.
more?
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
That's my
hands down.
favorite Roots
Fucking
album.
A, I'll talk about this. all day.
What was I going to say to you?
What did I have
Sorry.
written down that I was going to say?
Another thing
to
about
me?
Dilla, they did a and I have the DVD. They call it a Suite for Ma Dukes, and it was a kind of like a fundraiser one-time show. It was like a 50-piece orchestra that did Dilla beats, and
Oh, wow.
Kweli came out, and Bilal came out, and
Oh, Bilal. I love him.
Paz from De La came out. It was really dope, and it was all shot in black and white. It was really
Nice.
cool. So you can actually find some of the clips on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna look
really
for that.
dope. And one last thing, I want to give shout out to DJ Han and Mike Shinoda.
Hey, nice. Good call on that.
You know, 'cause,
yeah,
I mean-
agreed.
Shinoda did that Jay-Z thing.
Yeah.
He mashed up all that.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive to me.
What was it? Collision Course? Was that the name of the album? Yep. And I got the DVD for that too, and that shit was dope.
That's it.
No large professor.
And then
Large Professor's here
I
also
mean,
with Heavy D.
He did do 30% Illmatic.
Yeah, he tells everyone.
He has the shirt and everything.
By the way,
So I would put. My thing is longevity.
Yeah.
Like Pete Rock, Premier,
He was like a shooting
Havoc.
Gotcha.
Those guys can go
Yeah.
right now. You
Lars
put them right in
Professor
front of
was
them.
like a shooting
Right.
star.
I haven't seen him other than complaining about not being.
He's on that Netflix the Evolution of Hip Hop series.
Yeah.
They have a whole episode, well, a portion of an episode that's kind of completely dedicated to Illmatic and all the producers who worked on. I mean, I think DJ Premier did a couple tracks on there. I'm trying to think. I think Pete Rock did too.
He did the
I'm trying
Whose
to
world is
Yeah, I
this?
mean, I said fucking crazy. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, Q-Tip's on there. That's great.
And RZA. I mean, I can.
Yeah.
Who?
And I'll
Who?
get into RZA here in a little bit.
Who we talking about?
From the 36 chambers.
It's the ghost. Before we get to Jerry, we're going to take a quick little timeout for a commercial spot. We'd like to take the time to thank one of our sponsors, Andrew Newman, attorney at law. Located here in Greensboro, North Carolina, he can assist you with your criminal as well as traffic violations, and his practice includes Guilford, Forsyth, as well as all surrounding counties. To set up a free consultation, you can contact him at 336-663-2388, and you can also visit him on his website, attorneynewman.com. Big thanks to our sponsor. We are back here with Jerry, a.k.a. Broke-Ass Elon Truss.
Instead of flamethrowers, he's giving out lighters.
Here are your matches. No flamethrowers. I got matches for you, though.
asterisk, this is not a flamethrower. Okay, so I'm gonna pull my Seba impression. I'm gonna go honorable mentions first, and then I'm gonna go into somebody.
You're gonna talk for 30 minutes.
No, I'm definitely not gonna
Straight.
do that.
All right, and we are back from a quick little rain delay over here in North Carolina.
Fucking
for those
wet
of
as
you
shit.
that are not based in NC, it's been raining cats and dogs and all kinds of shit for the past week, it feels like. So build your arcs, get ready. The apocalypse is coming, and Sabo's telling us about zombie deer. So all kinds
Zombie
of shit.
deer in 24 states.
Yeah.
That apparently it can pass on to humans. So get your fucking flamethrowers out.
Speaking of flamethrowers, we have the white Elon Musk, Jerry,
The whitest,
the whitest, the whitest Elon Musk,
damn near opaque.
the transparent. Who do you got on your list of producers there, brother?
Well, like I said, I'm gonna go some honorable mentions. Of course, Kanye pre freak out, I guess.
So what, like 2010?
I mean, say what you want about his blabbermouth.
Pre-Kardashian, maybe?
Yeah, pre-Kardashian.
definitely.
I almost even feel like maybe a little
PK.
before that, maybe.
A little before that? I mean, Life of Pablo was Kardashian, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think so, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he had arguments with Jay. He had arguments with fucking
The World.
Kid Cudi and shit. Like
Like,
come on,
we're
man.
leaving the light on for Kanye in case he ever decides to come home.
It's Motel 6, man. You always.
I know a
we'll
lot
leave
of
the
people
light
that
on for
ain't.
you.
Leave the light on.
A lot of people are not. leaving my light on.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm
giving
one of
up
the
on
few.
this.
A lot of people shot the light bulb out.
And I ain't mad at him. I mean, I get it, but he's a genius.
He really is. I mean, he makes unbelievable music. It's stuff that you want to listen to over and over again. And that's it. We'll leave the light on for you, buddy. Of course, Dre. I mean, like especially me, like growing up in the South. Surrounded by classic rock. Like you hear nothing but a G thing, and you're just like, holy shit! Like I want to go to that party. Like
It could go either
I wanna
way,
go
though,
there.
It could go one of two ways.
It could
Depending on what area of North Carolina you're in.
right. I'm on the good side of the track. Let's see, Dre, and then RZA, of course. Oh my God, he's amazing. He's
It's a
produced
RZA.
he's produced some of the
RZA
coolest sounding music ever, and it doesn't have to sound super produced, quote unquote super.
No, I
produced.
mean,
it can sound grimy.
It sounds grimy on
great.
purpose.
Yep.
Like
Just
it's
raw.
missing that little, that one little thing, and it ties it all together.
Yeah.
It's so cool, so cool.
He did a lot of soul samples too early on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on.
What's going on?
I thought you were going to expand on that a little bit.
No, that's it.
Let's see. Timberland, of course. You know what? It's not an individual person, but I got to bring up the Bomb Squad.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Just an awesome name for a group. I'm just going to throw that out there. The Bomb Squad.
I mean, you had some of the most amazing talent associated with that group. You had Chuck D. You had... Yes.
Sorry, we had to adjust Jerry's head to the microphone.
Yes. My head is not attached to...
That's what she said.
Hank, Keith Shockley, you had Eric Sadler, you had G Wiz. They were doing their thing. They were prolific, especially Chuck D.
Yeah.
He has such an amazing, he can pull the most political, like horrible situation and make everyone appealing. He can make it appealing to anyone,
Right, to a wide audience.
Right.
He made
right.
Flavor Flav appealing.
I mean, shit, really.
Yeah. Public Enemy was actually, for the throwback machine here, was one of my first cassette tapes.
He said, "Let's put a clock on him."
Here's a Viking helmet. Wear it.
Shit we got.
When we're running over time, just point to your.
Say that
to
one
your
more
two
time,
knuckles.
but put this clock on.
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
And sound excited.
That's it.
I mean, Flavor Flav is like the first real kind of hype man
Yeah.
for hip hop.
He is the definitive
and one of the
hype
most
man.
memorable ones.
Yeah, but the Bomb Squad, they put out tracks for a lot of people. Obviously Public Enemy. You had the whole Slick Rick album. You had fucking Bell Biv DeVoe's Poison. They did.
Love it.
Like, come on. Like
Love that track.
a lot of people have heard that song. A lot of people
I
of
wanna say
my
most people
A
in
lot of
my-
people of my complexion.
And a lot of people
For sure.
have sang that song.
Jerry, our white man on the street, reporting the news, per usual.
They also did a. They
Never
also,
trust a big butt and a smile.
They also did.
Put that on my tombstone, please.
And come on, Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted.
Hell
Jesus.
yeah.
Christ.
They were about that.
Yeah.
They were on Salt and Pepper's album. They were on Big Daddy Kane, Eric B. and Rakim. Amazing group. Like
Monumental
I said,
80s albums. For
not
sure.
an individual, but goddamn, they made a fucking impression. I mean, and so let's see. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm a nerd. If you didn't know that,
Yeah, but you're an awesome nerd.
but you know what? I'm a nerd first.
I don't give a what you think, Jerry.
So you're nerdily
Okay.
awesome.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
And so I talk about nerding out. So I like a little channel called Cartoon Network, and late night they go Adult Swim.
Yeah.
And the leaders over at Adult Swim actually love hip hop music.
Yes,
They're
they do.
in Atlanta. They love hip hop, and they commissioned a lot of cool rappers and producers to come in and make music for them to plug their own stuff. And oh my God, two producers off the top of my head that were associated with Adult Swim at one point or another have got to be Madlib and Danger Mouse.
There you go.
They both made killer. Excuse me. They both made killer albums with MF Doom, aka Mad Villain, aka Quasimodo. Like he's got a lot of names. But
Quasimodo is Madlib.
More AKA.
No, that's
AKAs
right.
than us.
That's right. My bad.
Quasimodo's Madlib.
My bad.
Fact checker.
Surrounded by talent.
Check the facts.
Surrounded by talent.
Fine. But no, their albums that they made, in coordination with Adult Swim are amazing. They have a lot of Cartoon Network samples, like Adult Swim samples in there. My man Matthew brought up or sent me the link to Keith Mansfield's
the Danger Doom
Oh
shit.
my God, it's so awesome.
I said, you got to know this
Yeah.
one.
I definitely did, and I was like, I love it. And they just incorporate a lot of like silly shit, and come on, MF Doom alone.
Yeah.
Like,
Who was also tapped for a lot of those those segments. Like they're really brief.
the bumpers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not even 90 seconds.
Right.
And he was tapped for some of those. And recently he was tapped for like a whole week of just him. Mm-hmm. And then I think they just cut it off. Like, I don't know why.
But I remember a lot of that Mad Villainy album was in the episode, the Nab Oprah episode of the Boondocks.
Yeah.
Where they go in and nab Oprah and try to ransom her off, but then they end up getting Bill Cosby instead.
He ain't worth shit
They're
now.
like, and that's so funny. Like when it came out, like he wasn't such a pariah,
Right.
But then towards the end of the episode, we find out that he's really, really annoying, and they just put him back.
They just put it back.
But no, my ultimate number one producer right now has got to be Jamie, aka LP. Not you, buddy.
We are coming to you from On the One Studios here in beautiful Greensboro, North Carolina. By the way, Jamie Northerton is the owner. So. But unfortunately, we're not talking about you right now. But we do have that podcast coming up.
Yes, but I'm
I
talking
like you.
about yes. Well, we all like it. We love you very much. No, but I'm talking about LP. He's one half of the supergroup Run the Jewels. He makes all their music. He produced Killer Mike's rap music album.
Yep.
He's amazing. He's working. I think he's finished with it, but he's scoring the Fonzo movie, the Al Capone biopic.
Yep.
Biopic.
I'm
not correcting you on
You have
this.
to go back to another episode.
There's a
for that.
glitch in the matrix.
I had a conversation about that last night with the people Courtney and I went to dinner with.
Really?
I'm telling you,
Biopic
dude.
or biopic?
I did not realize how many people call it a biopic.
Right. I didn't know that until we had this podcast. I thought it was always biopic.
I'm gonna call it.
It makes sense to be a biopic.
Right.
It is
It's a
biopic.
biography and a picture.
And a
Biopic. Let's end this shit right
What
now.
do you think it is?
What the opposite of whatever everyone else says.
Do you think it's a biopic or a biopic?
I've always said biopic.
So have I.
But if
you
anybody
say
says biopic, I'm going to say, you mean biopic?
you say biopic, Jared, and I feel like Jordan was the saying biopic.
Yeah, he
Jordan did
was.
say biopic.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just like Ron Burgundy. I'll just read whatever's on the teleprompter.
Probably a biopic. It's like a Caribbean thing. You know, it's however you want to say it, I guess. Sorry.
Tomato,
Continue,
tomato.
I digress.
We have, we got to have our squirrel moments in the show, and obviously biopic is one of those damn squirrel moments.
I feel like as influencers in the entertainment industry, we should.
Yeah.
We need an
We should stick to one. We should.
Or we should
Yeah.
proclaim that we're the authority.
Biopic.
But no, LP started. He actually on his 18th birthday he hired he hired Mr. Len to DJ his 18th birthday party.
Awesome.
And so he got to talking with him, and they decided to form a group. And then they brought in Big Just, and they formed Company Flow.
Company Flow.
Holy shit! You talk about a produced album, Fun Crusher Plus. Wow.
Why does that sound like a vibrator to me?
I don't even know what to say.
You take grime, you roll it into like a sci-fi, like mad scientist vibe, and that's the kind of music you get, and that's what I love. Like, talk about that Adult Swim shit. I mean, really, like,
Yeah.
It's
I was gonna say Robot Chicken kind of shit.
But it's
Yeah.
a different
Yeah.
level of it.
it
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Like, you love hip hop, but then you're also a nerd, and then it's like, oh my god, they're making this music for people like me. I mean, really, it's pointed right at me. But after Company Flow, that dissolved, and then he formed his own label, Definitive Juxtaposition, aka Def Jux. He had Cannibal Ox in there. Oh my god, those albums are great. And then he got the invite to come down to Adult Swim, make that rap music with Killer Mike, and holy shit, we have Run the Jewels now because of that meeting.
RTJ.
And
Featured on Trigger Warning.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Well,
He's like,
I
wait
slept on a
minute.
bench last night. I slept in a king size
God.
bed.
Yeah. God, they play off each other so well.
Oh, the best.
I
was-
love how he's eating the food. He's like, I'm not gonna lie, this is the best barbecue I ever had. Killer Mike can't eat it.
Well, yeah, Killer Mike's about to take a bite, and he's like, "Well, wait a minute, like this probably wasn't farmed by black people." You
If you haven't watched Trigger Warning on Netflix, go check
We
that
fully
shit
endorse
out.
Trigger
Yeah.
Warning.
Oh my god, it's so good, so good. I mean, that's it. Judging from our latest interview, we love Run the Jewels. Big shout out to Trackstar the DJ.
Yep, Trackstar, thank you again. Make sure you check out the video on YouTube.
That's right. That's all I got, guys. That's really all I got.
All right, Jerry, our white man on the streets. Before we get to myself, we're going to take a quick little commercial spot, and we'll be right back.
We want to take the opportunity to shout out one of our sponsors, Gate City Growlers. They have 20 taps. They specialize in small North Carolina breweries and specialty craft beers. Working with the little guys since 2015. Guys, please stay local. Take care of the local shops.
All right, and we're back. For those of you just tuning in, like it's a fucking radio station. We're talking
usually
about
start
some
in the
of our-
middle.
Right, I start
For
when
those
there's
that jump
10
around.
minutes left. We've been talking about some of our favorite music producers, so it is now my turn to go through. I'm going to start off with some honorable mentions first. A lot of them have been mentioned. Timberland, Q-Tip, Large Professor, Alchemist, Timbo. As far as new producers go, one of my favorites is Travis Scott. That's pretty much about it. I mean, Mike Will made it's not bad. But just because I just like the Mike Will made it. And some of his beats are dope as shit, I'm not going to lie. But I'm more, obviously, for those of you that have listened to the show since day one, obviously more old school hip hop. So, beatminerz, Buckshot from Boot Camp Clip, Just Blaze. What? What are you going to say?
I was just going to say you wouldn't know from your DJ sets that you're one about old school.
I DJ every now and again.
Cardi B.
Shots fired.
Stop hating.
I like Cardi.
I love your DJ.
So my top three, I'll go ahead. I don't have them in any particular order, just some of my favorites. So I have Daniel Nakamura, a.k.a. Dan the Automator, on my list. First gained notoriety from Cool Keith's 96 album, Dr. Octagonologist, or Dr. Octagon. Started the Handsome Boy Modeling School CDs with Prince Paul from Prince of Thieves fame. Prince Paul, actually, shout out to Prince Paul. He should have been on the honorable mentions, and he is now. So,
Way to take care of
that. And he's responsible for Del the Funky Homo Sapien,
Love it.
Kid Koala, Deltron 3030. Produced Gorilla's debut album, and as well as Gotta Girl, one half of Gotta Girl with actress Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She plays.
That sounds real familiar.
She's on Scott Pilgrim.
Yep.
What's her name with the blue hair?
Yes, the one that he wants.
Yes, and she was in one of the Diehards.
She's
actually
actually-
awesome. And she has a
Yeah,
great.
she's his daughter.
She's
Yes,
the daughter.
The daughter.
Die Hard.
She has a phenomenal voice.
That's the one with what's his name, Justin Long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they get together at the end, don't they?
Yes. Yeah. Big ups to Justin
Live free or
Long,
die
too.
hard. That's what it is. Live free or die hard. Yeah.
You
that
know-
was okay.
You know who she's playing coming up soon?
No.
Huntress.
Really?
Really?
She's
on the-
she's in
on
the
DC
Birds of
Universe?
No, she's going to be in the Birds of Prey movie.
Really?
With Margot Robbie Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie.
Couldn't even get it out.
That's what she said.
She's going to be in that movie as the Huntress.
Really?
Yeah, it's gonna
I'm
be
looking
awesome.
forward to that now.
Yeah.
And
I
my
love her in Scott Pilgrim.
And my first appearance comic is going to skyrocket.
But yeah, check out Gotta Girl, phenomenal album. As far as some of my favorites by him, he produced, to me, this is like the quintessential sex CD of all time. It's called
Yeah.
Lovage. The album, it's actually called Music to Make Love to Your Old Lady by. It's a
I like
collaboration. Yes. It's a collaboration album with Mike Patton from Faith No More and Jennifer Charles from Elysian Fields. Check it out. I'm guaranteed this thing is fucking Viagra in the form
It's
of music.
actually really hard to find.
Yes. Yeah, you can. I think because this is one of my most stolen CDs as well. So you can find it on Amazon for like $25. The vinyl starts at like $400.
Yes.
If you could actually find the vinyl
built
for
for
it.
Cuban
tried.
links.
Yeah, the purple tape.
Purple tape.
Yep. Dr. Octagon, Blue Flowers. The Truth on the Handsome Boy Modeling School first CD with Prince Paul, Clint Eastwood by Gorillaz, and So How's Your Girl and White People albums from Handsome Boy Modeling School.
White people.
That's the name of the album. Is White
Great
People.
album.
I got it.
Jerry approved.
I got it. You weren't creating a new classification.
Amazing. 5 stars.
Who else? I know we talked about. It's like when Chappelle does white people. That's exactly what it feels like.
A white man's talking, goddammit.
Going on, we mentioned him briefly, but I mean, I got to say, Kanye West it has some of the best beats out there, you know, starting back from his early days with the Mad Rapper, the Tell 'Em Why You Mad album, and, you know, of course, collaborating with Jay-Z on the Blueprint album. And it's actually the 15-year anniversary of College Dropout, which, you know, laced some bangers like Get 'Em High, Jesus Walks, Through the Wire, and All Falls Down. And some of my personal favorites, we got to go with Get By with Talib. Down and Out, Cameron is still probably one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite Kanye beat. And then we got Guess Who's Back with Scarface. This Way, Dilated Peoples. The Corner with Common.
Yep.
Can't Tell
That
Me
whole
Nothing.
album, B.
Yeah.
That whole
Oh, God.
He did the whole B album.
Yeah, that's right. That's
and
right.
then
Because he's on good music.
He did the next, whatever Common's follow-up to be was, he produced that whole album as well. I can't remember right now.
Because Common's on good music, right?
Yes, he is now. But I think that's before good music was
I don't
created.
This is unpopular opinion, but Common for me kind of fell off. Like
I like Common.
We focused on his
I
acting.
liked Common.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan. Hey, buddy.
So, and then, of course, Runaway, and another one of my personal favorites, Lucifer, on the Black Album. And then, not really number 3, but my third person on the list has got to be the Resurrecta. You know, the entire just about Wu-Tang catalog.
Bobby Boulders.
Bobby Digital.
Most of solo albums.
He scored Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2. You know, when Protect Your Neck came out, to me, that's still one of the monumental tracks that changed the game. You know, it's up there with Nothing But a G Thing. It's up there with Straight Outta Compton. Yep. It's, you know, there's not even a hook in the song. It's just 9 dudes from Staten Island ripping it.
Shaolin.
So, I mean, and for him putting together that super group that we all know and came to love. So, of course, the Enter 36 Chambers album. One of my personal favorites is the Gravediggers album that he produced with Prince Paul. And
Nice fangs.
Yeah. That's when grills kind of first came into the scene. I still wanted a pair of those fucking grills. And then some personal favorites on his catalog. You know, What the Blood Clot on Tikal, Duel to Iron Mike, Dirty Dancing on the ODB CD, Incarcerated Scarfaces, Tricky the Hell EP. He actually produced, and he's got some dope ass tracks on that. Daytona 500, Serial Killer on the Blackout album.
Shit, Negro, that's all you had to say.
Reunited, and of course Triumph, and a nice little honorable mention for No Hook with
We don't need no hooks.
with Shaquille O'Neal and Method Man. Yes,
No
for those of you that
hooks.
don't know, Shaq had a hip hop album back in the day.
Shaq Diesel.
Shaq Diesel,
He also had a video game.
and a video game.
Word to your moms, I came to drop bombs because I don't give a heck.
Word to your moms.
Word
I came
to
to drop
your moms. I think that's the perfect way to end this episode. Word to your moms. Thanks for listening out there. And we'll let Haley take us out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Pop Culture as Fuck, presented by Multi-Poptural. Be sure to check us out at our website for all the latest news and notes. You can find us at www.popcultureaf.com or multipoptural.com. And we'll see you next week, you filthy animals.
Yes! Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.